Protect your car with 3W Liners all-weather floor mats. Made from durable materials like TPE and rubber, our mats are designed to withstand rain, snow, and mud with deep grooves to trap dirt and liquids. For a custom fit and advanced protection, visit 3W Liners. That's the number 3, WLINERS.com today. At Acasis, innovation drives us. Since 2008, we've been creating cutting-edge technology products that make your life easier. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit Acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. From gourmet snacks to unique finds, each box is tailored to your tastes. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.
Yeah. The Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. Thank you for the lead-in, Pete Souza. for getting us going on this Wednesday morning. I'm Cam Stewart, Zach Burke alongside. Zach, how are we doing today?
There we go. See, I was ready this morning. We're doing good.
Kind of. Yeah.
That was way better than yesterday. Like I was within
And Zach has to hustle into his seat. That is a pit stop operation between the Pete Souza show and our lovely Cam show.
It is, because when I got you started, I know you were staring at Pete because I had to use that computer to get us moved over. I thought you might be confused, but
honestly, anytime I can, I'd love to stare at Pete. So,
Pete approves of that. So.
Thank you, Pete. I might, if Pete's there, I might rope him into the last segment. But if he has to go, it's totally okay.
He said he's here through Pop-Tart Mouth, but yeah.
Okay, he's here until Pop-Tart Mouth. Gotcha. So what we're gonna do? This is an exciting show today, Zach, because the Patriots, since the last time we talked, have hired both coordinators. So we're gonna talk about both of those, and then the Baseball Hall of Fame came out yesterday.
I saw that this morning.
And I don't really have any qualms with it in terms of in a vacuum, those players that got in. But I've been saving up this argument because I knew one of these players was going to get in, and I am going to compare him to a Philadelphia Philly great, a Boston Red Sox great, who is not going to get into the Hall of Fame. So that's where I might bring Pete in. We are going to compare CC Sabathia to Curt Schilling and why one of those guys is in and not the other. Oh, I can't wait. I just cannot wait. Anyway, that's the show today. That's the show. No. Roll credits.
All right. That's it.
Thank you. This has been a weird kind of week or so for the Patriots offensive coordinator search. Honestly, I thought Mike Vrabel would be a little bit quicker in naming the offensive coordinator. That was just me. A lot of people thought this was, again, a rushed process, but we did have, right after the show ended yesterday, the Patriots do have their offensive coordinator, and big surprise, it's Josh McDaniels. The narrative around New England today is not the most positive one. I think there are a lot of people who have been, I want to say, hardened by the Patriots mystique, the Patriot way. It's gone now. You need to rebuild that. That's why you brought Mike Vrabel into the building. And so a lot of people aren't falling for this anymore. A lot of people aren't saying, well, because Josh McDaniels was part of the old Belichick regime, it's going to be all better. And then there are some that are excited about this hire. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, I'm in that field. I like this hire. When you look at all the guys that were either in and around the list or actually in for interviews and you weighed the pros and cons, I think Josh McDaniels still comes out as the best. I was thinking, hey, maybe since this is going past the national championship game, they're going to give Chip Kelly a look here. This goes back to kind of the Belichick regime, but that coaching staff loved having Chip Kelly in. When he was at Oregon, he would come into Patriots training camp and give them some pointers. They did joint practices when Chip started coaching the Eagles. And obviously, it didn't work out for him as an NFL head coach, but there's no doubt of what he can do as an offensive coordinator. He did it at the college level, a couple different places. Ohio State just wins the national championship. Mike Vrabel's an Ohio State guy, has played and coached there. So I was thinking by yesterday morning, hey, maybe this is coming around or being delayed because they want to talk to Chip Kelly. And then lo and behold, yesterday afternoon, Josh McDaniels is named the head coach. And again, the sentiment I have found to be interesting and mostly stupid, to be totally honest with you guys. Because look, I get it. I don't want this franchise to move backwards. And I thought they were kind of doing that last year. I thought last January, if you're gonna fire Bill Belichick, if you're going to can the greatest coach in the history of the sport, the guy who made this franchise what it is, if you're just gonna do away with him, then let's cut the cord. Let's get something entirely different. If this way is not going to work anymore, then let's go outside. Let's get someone else from a different organization with a different philosophy that's a little bit more 2020s NFL. Instead, you promoted a guy who had only ever played for and coached under Bill Belichick. And you have to then arrange marriages around the league to try and get some coordinators in here. You got a guy who had not been an OC before that no one had ever heard of, and Alex Van Pelt. And the reports coming out today are that they paid him about $3 million a year for that. For a team that couldn't score 4 touchdowns in a game. That's what you paid for in your offensive coordinator. And yet people are out here today bitching about Josh McDaniels being the OC. And this sentiment, which I hadn't really heard until this morning from sports talk radio hosts in this town, is just baffling to me. Because here's what they're talking about on the morning show on Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 about this Josh McDaniels hire.
Not to be a myopic prick about it, but let me ask, what has Josh McDaniels done without Tom Brady?
I don't know. What has Josh McDaniels done without Tom Brady? He was
Nothing.
terrible in Denver. He was terrible in Vegas as a head coach.
20-33.
As an offensive coordinator, he is good at what he does.
With Tom Brady as the quarterback.
You put him with a quarterback like this, it will be far better for the quarterback than, say, the guy Udinsky, or however you pronounce his name, the 28-year-old guy who's like the next big thing. The reason Udinsky would come here would be to work with May, have him succeed, and then leave in 2 years.
Okay, that's
Josh McDaniels isn't going anywhere.
I hate that argument.
This right here is where contrarianism becomes a mental illness. This is so far missing the point. This is the most missing the point I've ever seen in sports talk radio, which is really saying something. What has Josh McDaniels done without Brady? Oh, well, look at his record as a head coach. Great news, Patriots fans. You're not hiring him to be the head coach. Who gives a shit what his record was in Denver or in Vegas? Because after he crashed out in Denver, he won 3 Super Bowls with the Patriots as the offensive coordinator. So maybe I'm being naive here, but I personally could not give less of a shit what your new offensive coordinator did as a head coach. Because these are the same guys saying, why do you go and tap back into the Belichick well? Why don't you go for Chip Kelly? Noted, terrific NFL head coach Chip Kelly. Morons. Or how about Ben Johnson? Yeah, with a 0-0 record as a head coach who's going to come here and be your OC. All right, let's take Udinsky instead. Who the F is that? But because Josh McDaniels failed as a head coach twice, even though he was super successful as an offensive coordinator with your franchise, that's not good enough. So then we get back to the argument here. Well, what has Josh McDaniels done without Tom Brady? I don't know. How about we look back to 2021 when he made Mac Jones a Pro Bowler? Mac Jones, who looks like he shouldn't even be in the league anymore, was a Pro Bowler, threw for almost 4,000 yards. And you want to look at how they improved the defense from 2024 to what it could be in 2025? In that 2021 season, that team scored more than 25 points, which was the high water mark in a game for the Patriots this year. That 2021 team took the Patriots' high water mark for points in a game at 25 and exceeded it or equaled it 9 times. Josh McDaniels' offenses are so much better than what you put out in 2024. Oh, yeah, and they made the playoffs that year too. With Mac Jones at quarterback. Mac Jones looks like he shouldn't even be in the league anymore. And Josh McDaniels took him to heights that this year's offense could only dream of. And you're giving him a much better quarterback, and you're saying, well, what has he done without Tom Brady? Like, what are we talking about, man? They made the playoffs without Tom Brady. That 4-game stretch where Brady was suspended, when everyone thought the Patriots were going to go 0-4, they went 3-1. And they won 7 games with that awful Cam Newton arm. Like, why are we just completely blocking that out from our memories? How fucking dumb do you have to be? It's not dumb. You just want to be different. You just want to be a contrarian. And there's so much shit that the Patriots are giving you the last couple years that you can bash the organization. This isn't it. This is not it. You bash them for how quickly they hire a head coach, And then when they actually prolong an OC search, you don't like the guy they pick. Like, it's always something, man. Like, I know that's what sports talk radio is. You got to do a show. Trust me. I know I'm not at 98.5, but I do a show every day. But you don't always have to be like, this is such a dumb decision and just use these empty points. All right, who would you rather have than Josh McDaniels? Udinski? Josh McCown? How about any other guy who hasn't called their own friggin' plays before? I don't mind interviewing McCown. I think McCown's a good candidate. But you're talking about a guy who has won Super Bowls as an offensive coordinator, who has taken multiple quarterbacks to the Pro Bowl, who has taken other New England Patriots quarterbacks to the playoffs, and calls his own plays. Like, what that any other organization will be like, hell yeah, that's the offensive coordinator we want. 31 other organizations in the NFL are happy with this move, except for the one that he's had the only success in his career at. I don't get it. I don't friggin' get it. Like, this is a good hire. I really think this is a good hire for the Patriots. Different from the defensive coordinator hire, which I'm going to talk about in next segment. I don't think that's a good hire. Spoiler alert. But to be complaining about a guy who has won 3 Super Bowls as the offensive coordinator for your franchise and you're hiring him to the same job, I just don't get it. And of course he won those Super Bowls. He had Tom Brady. Find me another coordinator in the league who wins a Super Bowl without an elite quarterback. Find me just one, please. Just one. Find me one in the last 20 years who hasn't had an elite quarterback and won the Super Bowl. Joe Flacco? Not an elite quarterback, one of the best runs in the history of the sport. Eli Manning? Maybe I'll give you that one. But you have to have that to win the Super Bowl. Brady, Manning, Roethlisberger, Mahomes, Rodgers. That's the laundry list of Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. So miss me with that shit. That's such an awful argument. Awful. And by the way, lest we forget, let's dive into what he did with Tom Brady, because they worked about 3 different offenses with Tom Brady. And in his last Super Bowl, he more or less took the ball out of Brady's hands for 3/4 of the game, and they won the Super Bowl. What more do you want the guy to do? Tom, we really need to run you out of town. We need to see if Josh can win a Super Bowl without you. Fucking morons. Just absolute morons. And I don't know who this bobblehead is with Hardy. Just be like, yeah, what has he done without Brady? He was bad in Denver. Wow. Elite take. And Toucher's too busy just fucking stuffing his fat face to even come in at the end and be like, oh, I hate that argument. Like Rob Reiner in South Park. Oh, I hate that argument. That he'll stick around. Like, that's actually a good thing. You hire one of these up-and-comers. You hire Josh McCown. He's head coach in 2 years. I think that's important that you can get, hey, out of these 5 guys that we're looking at for offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniels has the best resume, and he's going to stick around. Oh, I hate that argument. That sucks. Fucking, it's no different from the meme of, like, guy pointing to the greatest thing ever. Oh, this shit actually sucks. That's what they're doing here. And they, again, when the Patriots offense is good this year, you know what they'll say? Well, what has he done without Drake May? He's had two good quarterbacks in his career, and that's it. Like, I watch Mahomes and this Chiefs run, and look, Mahomes is one of the great quarterbacks of all time. And I've said it about this Chiefs run recently. Like, this is what the early dynasty Patriots were like. You know, they were a team that hung on with defense a lot. They didn't pull away in a lot of those big games, but when the game was on the line, you wanted the ball in Brady's hands, a young Tom Brady. It's the same thing with Mahomes. And then Brady became unequivocally the best passer in the sport. And you know who did that for him? It was Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels did that. He elevated a guy who's making a claim for the best quarterback in the game and made him the best quarterback in the history of the game. But that's not good enough. That's apparently not good enough to be Drake May's offensive coordinator in 2025. Then instead, they want someone who was another failed head coach in the NFL and Chip Kelly, and they won't use the same argument. They want, I don't even know who they want. They didn't give any examples of who they want. But the guy who has won 3 Super Bowls as the offensive coordinator of that organization is not good enough to come in here and coach the offense of a 4-13 team. What are we doing here? Who is more delusional? The ones that think if we get some sort of the Belichick tree in here, it's going to be all good? The people that you shit on? Or is it more delusional to think that Josh McDaniels is not good enough to be the OC of a team that went 4-13 and didn't score more than 25 points in a game this year? Who's the crazy one here? Good Lord, give me a break. This is damn near the best hire you could have gotten at offensive coordinator. Belichick shit aside. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, please. Let me know how stupid I am or how stupid these guys are at 98.5. I mean, not that they need a reminder. The show will go on. Let me know down in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe. It helps out the channel a lot. And we're live on YouTube, Boston Sports Nothing But, every day, live at noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts. Let's talk about the Patriots' DC hire, which I'm not as high on. That's next on The Cam Show.
Ready to bring your vision to life? At Small Rig, every idea, design, and product is inspired by you, the creator. With our industry-first under co-design mode and the Dream Rig free customization project, we unite with global creators to turn big dreams into reality. Whether it's a cage rig or mount, Small Rig's versatile gear is built to elevate your craft. Small Rig, where your creativity meets our innovation. Go to smallrig.com.
Want to turn your passion into profit? With Blogify, creating a blog has never been easier. Build, customize, and grow your site with powerful tools designed for beginners and pros alike. Start sharing your story today and watch your audience grow with Blogify. Download Blogify now in the App Store. Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com. That's CLEAN email.com. Stay connected no matter where you are with eSIM-X. Say goodbye to expensive roaming charges and physical SIM cards. With access to over 200 global carriers, we make mobile connectivity seamless and affordable for travelers worldwide. Join the future of communication today at eSIMX.com. That's ESIMX.com.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
It is Matt Mosley, and it's the Obstructed View Podcast Rogue Media Network. I think they're learning that there's really no wonderful view of me. See, I feel like they think this feed's going to be really wonderful.
There must have been, no BS, like 20 scouts, 15 to 20 NBA scouts there to see him, and he was top 5.
When your old number wasn't working, I went through various channels to track you down. So unfortunately, you can never get away from me, but I'm happy to have you today.
No, thanks for having me. And you know, we always family no matter where I'm at.
Welcome to a special edition of the Doomsday Podcast. Look at this. We got one of the great golfers in the world, certainly one of the great pass rushers in NFL history, but he also
had a vision for you. And so it was like you had the best of both worlds, right? You had somebody on you early, and then you had somebody who was maybe
more relaxed.
What were a couple of your biggest takeaways?
The person you referred to that I spoke with, I've spoken to some personnel people and general managers of the league to get some, independent, objective assessments of the players the Cowboys picked, and we'll go through that. Has the general manager changed at all in the draft room?
Nope, it's been the same since I was here the last time.
We're back on the Cam Show, Rogue Media Sports Network, live every day, noon Eastern time. I'm Cam Stewart, Zach Burke, keeping us on the air. The brain rot continues today around Boston sports media because literally after that first segment, I went onto Twitter during the break, and Dan Lifshatz, which is apparently a real name, of 98.5, is talking about how bad the hire is on Twitter of Josh McDaniels. And someone asked, who would you rather have? And he said, literally anyone else. Literally anyone else. Like the man would rather have Drew Bledsoe coaching the offense, apparently. Literally anyone else? Like, where does that end? Do you want Joe Biden coaching the offense? Huh? Bill Cosby? Newly minted Hall of Famer CeCe Sabathia? You want him coaching the offense? Literally anyone else. This is what I'm talking about, man. Like, what are you effing saying, dude? You would rather have anyone else than a guy who has won 3 Super Bowls as an offensive coordinator within your organization. There's been so much to pile on with what the Patriots have gotten wrong the last couple of years. Lord knows I want to do it. And then when they do something right, they can't handle it. Like, what the hell, man? You wanted the coach gone all season long, and then when they hire Mike Vrabel, everyone's like, well, they didn't hire him the right way. They didn't take the interviews seriously. They just checked a box on the Rooney Rule. They did it the right way. They did it within the rules, but not the way that I wanted them to do it. And then when they hire an OC, it's like, oh, why didn't you hire the guy who didn't win 3 Super Bowls? Fucking member berries. Fucking idiots, man. Jesus. I like the Josh McDaniels hire. I don't like the Patriots DC hire, which happened yesterday as well. Terrell Williams of the Detroit Lions comes in from being the defensive line coach with the Lions to now being the defensive coordinator for the Patriots. And he's someone who served 5 years under Mike Vrabel in Tennessee, both as the defensive line coach and the assistant head coach. But immediately what jumps off the page at me is defensive line coach, which might have been the biggest issue with DeMarcus Covington this year. Defensive line coaches, you don't go from defensive line coach to defensive coordinator in this league. Only the Patriots do that. And it's been laid out several times throughout this season with DeMarcus Covington, because guys who only coach the defensive line, they don't understand coverages. Usually, work your way out to the back. Defensive backs coaches or linebackers coaches become DCs all the time. Specifically linebackers coaches, right? And one of the problems that DeMarcus Covington had was he clearly didn't understand coverages well enough. The Patriots were awful in pass coverage because you got a guy coming from the defensive line. And weirdly enough, when you compare the two resumes in terms of positional versatility, not stops that they've been to, because that's a different thing, but in terms of what positions they've coached, DeMarcus Covington has more versatility in his 1 year as the outside linebackers coach with the Patriots. But other than that, defensive grad assistant, defensive line, coaching assistant, outside linebacker, defensive line to defensive coordinator. That's not really the path. And yet I look at Terrell Williams, defensive line, 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 assistant head coach, defensive line, run game coordinator, defensive coordinator. Tell me how that adds up. The guy's been coaching nothing but defensive lines for 25 years, exclusively defensive lines. And you want him to run the entire defense after you got gashed in the pass game all year. Good luck with that. If the McDaniels thing is strictly a Krafts hire instead of being a Vrabel hire, maybe that was the right decision because Vrabel picks a guy he got from Tennessee who's coached nothing but the defensive line. In fact, in his time in Tennessee, of which Terrell Williams overlapped Mike Vrabel's entire time with the Titans, and in Vrabel's tenure in Tennessee, he hired 2 different defensive coordinators. And he didn't hire Terrell Williams either time. He hired Dean Pease and some other schmo, neither of whom had coached the defensive line in their career. And now this guy's good enough. Which, look, that's fine. That was 6 years ago. Maybe is, or 4 years ago. 5 years ago. Whatever the fuck it was. It's 5 years ago. That's fine. Maybe he's different now. But you just had this issue with this team. Right? Like this is a carbon copy of 2024. If you want to believe that the Krafts forced through the McDaniels hire. Personally, I think Vrabel had a big part of that. I don't think Vrabel's coming here and they tell him, hey, you can't hire the OC. I don't think that's part of it. But let's just play that out for argument's sake. That the Krafts forced in McDaniels as the OC. Vrabel, the head coach, picks one of his guys at DC who would only coach the defensive line. In that case, it's no different from 12 months ago when Gerard Mayo becomes the head coach. The ownership and Elliott Wolf hire the OC, and they say, hey, you can make one of your guys DC, and he hires a guy who had never been a defensive coordinator, who had only been a defensive line coach. And look what happened. And yet there's no pushback on this from the Boston sports media today. No pushback. Oh, yeah, Terrell Williams, sure. But here's how bad the Josh McDaniels hire is, XYZ. They don't care about the Terrell Williams hire. They just want to tell you how bad the former Patriots guy is. Because to them, that's a story. But this is not, in my opinion, an expert hire. I will give Terrell Williams this benefit of the doubt. The Lions were 23rd in sacks in 2023. In 2024, they were also 23rd in sacks. They only had 4 less sacks in 2024 than they did in 2023. Which, I mean, those numbers are still mediocre, but in 2024, you didn't have the former number 1 pick and one of the great pass rushers in the game in Aiden Hutchinson. And their production was largely the same. You can see that as a good thing. You can see that as a bad thing. But he was also the run game coordinator for the Lions this year, who gave up more yards per carry than the Patriots did. And the Patriots are widely regarded as one of the worst rush defenses in the league this year. All the numbers point to that. And this Lions team gave up more yards per carry and couldn't do anything with Jaden Daniels and gave up 45 points just last week at home in a playoff game to a rookie quarterback. That's what we were waiting on. That's the guy we were waiting on to come and save this Patriots defense. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but to me, this sounds a lot like hiring DeMarcus Covington. But he was Vrabel's assistant head coach in Tennessee. Didn't quite respect him enough to make him the DC. Passed over him twice for the defensive coordinator job in Tennessee. Didn't respect him enough for that, but he was the assistant head coach. Whatever that means. Like, genuinely, whatever that means. In charge of how many timeouts you have? Like the JV basketball coach during the varsity game? That to me is a sneaky, just not good hire. Uninspiring hire. I think the Josh McDaniels one is way better than that. And to be totally honest with you guys, I don't know what the short list was for defensive coordinator, but bare minimum, when you don't know these candidates coming in, you would think, all right, let's see. Top is wanting someone who's been a defensive coordinator before. Maybe someone who's been a head coach and defensive coordinator before. Maybe someone who is a up and coming guy on someone's defense, coaching the linebackers or coaching the secondary. Instead, you didn't get any of that. You got a defense that really sucked towards the end of this season, including the playoffs, especially the playoffs. And a guy who's not been a defensive coordinator and has only coached one position group in his whole career. 25 years of coaching one position group. And you're going to have him run the whole defense. Oof. I don't see it. I really don't see it. I thought the Patriots could have had a shot maybe at the Lions DC in Glenn, but yeah, this is not good. It's not good. I mean, it's a long list of great assistants for the Lions because Ben Johnson becomes the first Lions assistant to be named another NFL team's head coach since Kennedy was in office. Yeah. Yeah, good for them. Good for the Lions, man. I mean, hopefully it doesn't get stripped completely dry. But Dan Campbell said he's the best defensive line coach in the league. Dan Campbell said Terrell Williams is the best defensive line coach in the league. Of course, he was his defensive line coach, but be that as it may. Both guys who have A&M ties. Anyway, Baseball Hall of Fame. We've got 3 new members and one who should have got in after a Boston Red Sox hero. We'll talk about that next on The Camp Show.
Unlock your full potential with Onnit, your go-to for premium supplements, fitness gear, and wellness essentials. Whether you're training hard, recovering faster, or just looking to feel your best, Onnit has the tools you need to perform at your peak. Visit Onnit, that's ONNIT.com, and elevate your mind, body, and spirit today. Join the Daily High Club, the premier destination for glass water pipes, vaporizers, and accessories. Since 2015, we've sold over 1 million quality products and teamed up with legends like Snoop Dogg and Tommy Chong. Ready to elevate your smoking game? Visit dailyhighclub.com for our El Primo subscription box or shop unique pieces today. Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com. Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Combine that with OrganicHemp.com's top quality CBD for ultimate balance. Start your healing journey today at GlobalHealing.com and OrganicHemp.com.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious. Find your blend at hempdelicious.com.
Get ready for epic savings at Best Buy. Right now, you can save up to $700 on select Alienware and Dell gaming products. Perfect for leveling up your gaming experience. Plus, grab the latest Android Google Pixel at an unbeatable price. Don't miss these incredible deals. Shop now at BestBuy.com and upgrade your tech today.
We've got all these transfer portal stats and what Dion did and what Fritz has done. I mean, that's the deal, man. That's the game that's being played nowadays.
Maybe a little bit unknown at quarterback. I mean, unknown to the rest of the world, but, you know, he dove into the portal and got a guy who is super, super athletic.
South Dakota State's really good. Give us a little bit of breakdown about what they can do and what Oklahoma State needs to be worried about.
Look at that form right there. I need to say nothing else about this because I found one.
If I could, let's get Pete Souza in here, huh? Let's get Pete Souza in here. Pete and I don't know if I'm going to be able to hear him. I don't know if
How about right now? 5, 4, 3, 2.
Oh, I gotcha. Look at that crew neck, dude. I like that a lot.
Why do you talk about clothes like it's 1974?
Is that not a crew neck?
Dude, you want to chat about those?
Dungarees? Yeah, man. Yeah. Is that not a crew neck?
I mean, I guess. It's just
Is it a t-shirt or a sweatshirt?
It's a sweatshirt.
It's a crew neck.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Pullover?
I just call it a shirt, a sweatshirt. Yeah.
It's nice. I like
It's
it.
team issued, you know?
Teams? Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess. You can't just buy that, man.
Cam, I got a lot to talk to you about, but I get this is your show, so we'll go with what
You're damn right it's my show. It's the Cam Show. Pete Souza joining. We did our Hall of Fame ballots a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And I think you and I both left CC Sabathia off. Am I right in that?
I think I did have him off. Yeah.
Which, like, in a vacuum, I don't really care that CC Sabathia is in. It just doesn't do a lot for me, mainly because I grew up in that era and, like, it never was outside of, like, 2 years. CC wasn't like, oh, my God, we got to face Sabathia today. You know, he was always solid, and there's something to be said for that. He has a good career, but. Yeah,
and by the way, CC had a tough time personally. He was a booze guy. I mean, I say that being sober, he's sober. I think like 10 years now or 7 years. Like he was going through a lot of his career in a pretty big stupor, I think he would tell you.
It was like Matthew Perry. At his peak, he was just boozing. You should have him on the payoff.
Matthew Perry?
That might be a little tough to book.
Yeah.
CC, though.
Yeah, trust me. It's so funny. People are like, you should have him on.
Big Yankee guy, Pete Souza.
You being like, you should have Roger Clemens on the Cam Show. It's like, well, it's just.
I know. That's why I do it. That's why I do it. Yeah, you should get him on. That's why I loved when, like, it still happens now, but like when I was graduating from college and people knew like I love doing sports talk stuff, they'd be like, why don't you just go up to EEI? Their guys suck. You should just go. And I'm like, that's really not how this works.
If I had a nickel for every well-intentioned comment like that, oh man, yeah.
All the like people I went to high school with and their parents, and they'd be like, you should get a job with the Red Sox. You know so much about the Red Sox. You should be doing that.
It'd be like when I have buddies that that graduated in Richmond Business School, like, you should call Jamie Dimon. You should go work for him. It's like, nah, it just doesn't kind of work that. Like, I wasn't that ignorant. Why do people choose to be that ignorant with me?
I don't know. It's weird. Yeah. Anyway, CC Sabathia. Again, in a vacuum, don't mind that he's getting in. But it's another great, almost apples to apples in terms of starting pitcher, played a similar amount of time, overlapped in eras. Why is CC Sabathia in the Hall of Fame and Curt Schilling is not? Pete, I want your initial thoughts.
Politics.
It is, man.
Done. I mean, it's sucks. The guy, things come out of Curt Schilling's mouth that are uncomfortable for a lot of us. And you're going, oh man, why'd you say that? It's like, come on. Like, you know, what's interesting too.
Yeah. I mean, like, let's call a spade a spade. Like, to me, Curt Schilling is a loony. Like, and I like dunking on libs. I'm pretty down the middle. I don't like buying into the woke stuff, but like Curt Schilling, you're uncomfortable is the word. He said a lot of uncomfortable things. He really got like dragged through the coals with that. Remember that tweet of the t-shirt that was like rope journalist assembly required. It's like, okay, but it's a tweet. Like, it's a meme. Like,
totally. And I think,
dude, it's stupid, but like, come on. That's what's keeping him out of the Hall of Fame.
But how about, nuts. I mean, this is a kind of an old joke, but it's new to me because I just came up with it. He would have a better chance of being elected president than being voted into the Hall of Fame.
That's right. Yeah, it's exactly right.
Interesting.
Yeah. I wonder what Kurt's thoughts on Elon's little display was. Anyway.
Okay, can I tell you something?
Sure.
Dude. It was definitely a thing. It was
like I mean, there's almost no way to argue it. Like,
I think he was. I got one buddy who I trust, but is kind of out there. But he's like got his stuff together. He believes that he was on drugs, that Elon was on drugs, and he's kind of high a little more than he should be, like hardcore stuff, you know, like ketamine, all that. And then there was another one where I believe that he was just 1,000% trolling the libs. He that's what he was trying to do there. And the third thing you could say, he
shouldn't be using that for trolling, man. Like,
no, you shouldn't, but he does not care. You know, I think that.
I guess,
yeah, it was definitely a thing. Okay, back to Curt Schilling.
Yes, let's look at I love Baseball Reference comparison tool.
Okay.
Let's look at the side-by-side of Curt Schilling versus CC Sabathia. And I didn't put the picture in on time, so you're just going to have to hear me read it off.
Okay.
So they have about the same amount of starts. Actually, same amount of games because Schilling did a good amount of his career in the bullpen, actually. Same amount of games, but CC had way more starts. And so he has some more innings and has more wins. Okay. Conventional 30 years ago, that's like, okay, no doubt, right? But ERA, much better for Schilling. ERA plus 11 points better than for Schilling. More strikeouts and less games started and less innings pitched, much less innings pitched. Better strikeout percentage, much less walks. Many less walks, better walk percentage, same amount of all-star teams, 6. CC did win a Cy Young, World Series MVP, Curt Schilling, 3 championships to 1. And the WAR, which is probably what we need to get to when we're close enough on these two guys, 17 wins higher above replacement for Curt Schilling. And that, Pete, that's not even taking into account the postseason. Because Curt Schilling is probably the best postseason starting pitcher in the history of baseball.
Well,
with this expanding postseasons. And the postseason numbers are not even close, Pete. I've got this in front of me. They're not even close. And CC, by the time he gets to the Yankees, he's pitching in the playoffs every year. And, I mean, they make the LCS with Cleveland, too. So he's in the playoffs most seasons of his career. Most. Yeah. And still, 10-7. 4.28 ERA, a whip of 1.5, and a 4.5 walks per 9. Curt Schilling, on the other hand, 11-2, 2.23 ERA, a whip under 1, a strikeout per 9 that's pretty similar to CC, but the walks were 4.5 per 9. Schilling's is 1.7. When the games meant the most, Schilling is nails. And CC Sabathia is okay. CC Sabathia is a middle of the rotation starter when it comes to the postseason. And Curt Schilling is a World Series co-MVP in 2001, is the ace on that 04 Red Sox team. He's better than Pedro that year, is the ace. Bloody sock game is way more important and impactful in the game of baseball than anything CC Sabathia has ever done, which that's not the only Hall of Fame criteria. I get it. And then wins another World Series in 07 with the Red Sox. And by the way, is their closer down the stretch in 2005 when he's playing hurt to get them into the postseason. So I'm saying the storylines and the dramatics, the money on the table games, Curt Schilling is much better than CC Sabathia. And then if we just look at the career stats, the meaningful ones he's better at too. But the guy's a Republican.
Well, not just that. He's like,
he's off the charts. Yes, yeah. He's far right. Far right. That term gets thrown around too much, criminal. But he is far right.
But it's not criminal.
Correct. And he voted for the guy that won the presidency. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so did most of America.
And I think the one thing about Curt Schilling is you think about, who's journalists are voting you in, right? And he has no time for journalists.
Yeah. I mean, he did in his career. That's the weird thing. It's not like
he was a great interviewer.
It wasn't like Bonds, but now they take that personally.
And I'll go back to what you were saying because you can relate. There's a connective tissue between you and Curt Schilling through those Red Sox years, as there is with me and Schilling through the Phillies years. And I also grew up, partied a lot, but remember very well his World Series run with the Diamondbacks. And like, dude, well, every time he went to the Hill in a big game, it was like, okay, who's pitching tomorrow? Because this game is decided.
Yep.
Like, I mean, truly, that's how I felt as a fan, right? With the Phillies when I was a kid. That was like when you're a young kid, like you don't have too many locks. It's like Christmas, Santa Claus, like Curt Schilling, he's going to win. Like really, like I knew that he was going to win when he was pitching for the Phillies in big games in particular. And then. As a better, I was betting a lot when the Diamondbacks made that run. You did not bet. You just bet on him, and that's it. The odds were never terrific, and that was it. And you knew you were going to win. It's interesting how I don't have that feeling at all around Sabathia. Maybe my relationship wasn't as intimate, but I just never felt that about him, even when my team was opposing him. I actually think my Phillies beat him in the playoffs when he was with the Brewers the year we won the World Series in 2009. I know we beat the Brewers, and I think we beat him in particular. So
and that was Sabathia's best year. He goes to Milwaukee in the middle of the season. Yeah.
I just never had any fear factor around CC Sabathia.
And that is something. Like, it's not the end all be all, but that is a big point. Like, when the chips were out there, would you rather have Curt Schilling or CC Sabathia? Like, to me, it's no question. Now, if the rest of his career is like Walker Bueller's and CC Sabathia is CC Sabathia, then it's no contest. It's still Sabathia. But when they're even, and that's factored in there, that's something to me. By the way, 2001 postseason, Curt Schilling, you ready for this?
Yeah.
6 games, 4-0, 1.12 ERA, 56 strikeouts, 3 complete games, 1 shutout, 6 earned runs in 48 innings, and 6 walks in 48 innings. Like, come on, man. His strikeout per 9 was 10.5 in the postseason. And he had 3 starts against the Yankees.
I can guarantee you'll have an answer for this. I don't.
9.5 strikeout to walk percentage.
Where was he with the steroid stuff? Like,
big time anti.
Yeah, so that's
burn bridges.
That,
yeah.
Right?
He was part of the congressional hearings against, like, saying these guys are scumbags. Like,
so he's
though Roger Clemens turned around
against these guys who were juiced to the gills. You know,
like that should get the nipples hard of every BBWA writer. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what you're still crusading against. And here's this guy that's like, he's saying about Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire and Roger Clemens, even some of his teammates, which might not be the greatest thing to say in the world. But he was like, Manny, I never thought he was a good teammate. Everyone around the Red Sox will talk about, Manny being Manny. And Curt Schilling was the only one to be like, yeah, great hitter, not a good teammate at all. And like, it takes some balls to say that. And I think he's the only one
drinking with the day of the game.
Huh?
The Yankees and the Red Sox were playing in the playoffs or late in the regular.
Yes. Jose Contreras?
I think so. He didn't come to the ballpark. He just got drunk with
It's either Contreras or Enrique Wilson. I think it was Contreras. But it might have
That's not the best teammate in the world.
Oh my God. And he had like 10 grandmothers that died over the time of his time with the Red Sox. The other thing too is I think Schilling won the Clemente Award.
Yes, he
did. Won Teammate of the Year twice. I think he's the only person to ever do that. Like, that's the thing. You never hear this from his teammates. Like, I don't know. There's something there.
His wife did a lot for skin cancer too.
Big time, Shonda. Yeah.
Yeah. Shonda. All right, take it easy.
Yeah. Look, the Schilling.
Shonda.
And this is again something that you can't quantify. But let's just take you to hear impact of baseball again. You might hate hearing this. The 2004 Red Sox might be the most impactful team in the history of the sport. Like, just the storyline, what they did, how they did it. It's incredible. The way who they had to overcome to get there. And
they were
what
favored
that team
in that series, by the way.
In what the Yankee series?
Yeah, they were favored.
Is that true?
When the series started, they were favored. Yeah.
Because they had just swept Anaheim?
When the series started, they were favored.
I can believe that, but history tells us, like, if they were favored, they were slight favorites. They had better pitching than the Yankees.
My man Chris Myers, and that deserves a wow book. That Chris was the sideline reporter or the dugout reporter for that Fox series. So,
but what that 2004 team needed was Curt Schilling, a prickly character, albeit, who would come in there and say, like, I don't give a shit about the Yankees' mystique. In fact, I want to shove it down their throat. And he's like, I don't care what any of you say about me as reporters. I don't care what the fans think about me. I only care what my teammates think about me and winning baseball games. And the fans loved him, loved Curt Schilling. I mean, he was one of my favorite players growing up, and like actually is going to, put his balls out there in the press conference and then do it in a game, having surgery before a do or die playoff game
24 hours,
real Yankee Stadium, the House of Pain, the actual stadium, and then actually shoving it down their throat.
And by the way, that was a surgery that, for all intents and purposes, could have ended his career at the time. And he knew very well that was possible, and he was at peace with that. At that phase in his career, he was like, if I cannot pitch again after this, I'll have to live with that, right? But I'm taking this chance. I'm having this procedure. My leg feels pretty good, or my ankle feels pretty good. I'm going to go out there and pitch. He said he probably would not have done that if he was like a 20-something, pitcher, but he put it all on the line, dude, for the city of Boston, for his teammates, and he came through. And that was very bloody, that sock, by the way. Chris Myers, the reporter on the scene, was like, there was nothing fake about that. Like, that's ridiculous.
And it does suck how a lot of the fan base in Boston, because it's very liberal, which is okay, has turned on him. And dude, I get it. Like, trust me, I understand. This stuff is weird. It's fucking weird. But that shit that he did for this team and the culture of our great region, like, there's no reversing the curse without that guy. So
where is he, by the way? It's like he
still lives in Mass.
Huh?
He still lives in Mass.
He
lives
does?
in Medfield. Yeah, he defrauded the state of Rhode Island, but the Rhode Island government. But so they don't love him in Rhode Island. But he is in Medfield. His son played at the local public high school for hockey, and Rockland played them one year, and his son was the backup goalie, which is kind of funny. So Kurt was in the building for that. And he still does a bunch of charity work. He's been knocked down the last couple of years. He's been in and out of cancer and stuff. So he also broke that Tim Wakefield had cancer, when I don't think the Wakefield family wanted that, which is, again, kind of shitty, but it doesn't keep you out of the Hall of Fame. Kurt Schilling should be in the Hall of Fame, no doubt. And the farther we go with starting pitchers, the more that we're going, like, the 300 games thing is out the window. Like, nobody's going to be doing that after Verlander and Kershaw retire. Like, nobody's going to be doing that anymore. And so when you see that Schilling has 216 wins, that's not going to mean shit in 10 years. You're going to be like, okay, yeah, there's plenty. Like, Mike Messina's in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. Pedro's in the Hall of Fame with 239 wins. CeCe's in with 250 wins. And 10 years from now, everyone's going to be like, yeah, those guys were nailed on, no doubt Hall of Famers, even though only one of those three guys I listed was. And so Kurt Schilling is, like, people are going to be looking back at this when Twitter's gone, and probably after Kurt's gone, and I don't know, someone blue is in the office, and they're going to be like, huh, really? Like, or maybe someone worse that's red is in the office, and they'll say, this, why didn't this guy get in the Hall of Fame? And so maybe if they keep this stupid veterans committee around, he'll get in one day, but he should be a Hall of Famer. Like, this is such BS, man. He should have been a Hall of Famer before any of this political crap came out. Anyway, Pete Souza, thank you very much.
All right, Cameron.
Appreciate it, Pete. He was so far from the craziest guy on that 93 Phillies team. So far. He's like the fifth craziest guy on that team.
Yeah, I think Dave Holland's like, I think there's bodies buried places that nobody.
I mean, shit. 93 Phils gets its own segment one day in the summer when it's slow for you. That's Pete Souza. Pete Souza Show, 10 a.m. Central Time. Our lead-in here on Rogue Media Sports Network. We're live noon Eastern Time every weekday, 11 a.m. Central on YouTube, and then wherever you get your podcast. We'll see you tomorrow on The Cam Show.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Tusains, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.